Good morning, dear students. Now we are up to the applications of plant tissue culture. So, plant tissue culture is the in vitro culture of plant cell, tissue, organ on artificial nutrient media under controlled condition. The main application of the plant tissue culture is the multiplication of the plants. So one by one we are going to study the various applications of the plant tissue culture. So the first one is the micropropagation, somaclonal variation, haploid production, protoplast fusion, somatic hybrids, embryo rescue and production of secondary metabolites. So all these applications we are going to study in this lecture one by one. So here we are dealing with the applications of plant tissue culture. So the first one is the micropropagation. So as you know the word micropropagation, micro means the smallest part, propagation, multiplication. So when the multiplication of the plant has been carried out in vitro by using their smallest part through the tissue culture technique, it is called as micropropagation. So micropropagation is the in vitro clonal propagation where the plant roots are like the parent plant. So these are the clones, identical plants. So micropropagation is the in vitro clonal propagation of plants using their smallest part through tissue culture technique. It is known as micropropagation. It is the practice of rapidly multiplying stock plant material to produce a large number of progeny plants using plant tissue culture methods. So stock plant is the mother plant. It is the novel variety from which the plants has been produced. So we can get the large number of progeny by using a superior stock plant material. So here plant tissue culture methods has been used for the multiplication of the stock plant material to produce the large number of progeny plants using plant tissue culture methods. Micropropagation is used to multiply novel plants. Novel, those are superior plants, important plants such as those have been genetically modified or bred through conventional plant breeding methods. So novel plants that has been produced by genetic modification. For example, here if you take the example of BT cotton, so it is a genetically modified plant. So such plants can be multiplied by using a tissue culture technique called as the micropropagation. So such novel plant which is genetically modified or that has been bred through conventional breeding methods, it is also a very useful method to provide a large number of plantlets for planting from a stock plant which does not produce seeds. So micropropagation is a method used for production of large number of plantlets, those from a stock plant which does not produce the seeds. So those plants which do not bear seeds, such plants can be multiplied by using plant tissue culture method. Or those plants which does not respond well to vegetative propagation. So when the propagation of the plant has not been carried out by using seed or by using their vegetative part, the plant tissue culture method has been used for the multiplication of the plant. It is highly professional and commercial process. So this is all about the micropropagation. Micropropagation is the in vitro clonal propagation of the plants using their smallest part micro through tissue culture technique. It is known as micropropagation. So micropropagation includes 5 important steps. So one by one we are going to discuss these steps of micropropagation. So first is the stage 0. It is the initial stage. So the number given as a 0, it is initial stage involving the selection and growth of stock plant. So what is a stock plant? Stock plant is a novel plant. Those have been genetically modified or that plant has been bred through conventional plant breeding method, or this is the plant which do not produce the seeds or does not respond well to the vegetative propagation. So this is the stock plant. So in the stage 0, which is designated as initial stage, involves the selection and growth of stock plants for about 3 months under controlled conditions of light, temperature and humidity. So under controlled environmental condition, that stock plant has been allowed to grow for about 3 months. Next to this is the stage first. In this stage, there is initiation and establishment of culture in a suitable medium is accomplished. So here the culture has been carried out by using the smallest part of that stock plant, where in the stage first there is initiation and establishment of culture in a suitable medium has been carried out. The suitable explant such as organs, shoot tips, auxiliary buds, etc. has been used. So in the stage first, the suitable explant has been cultured on a nutrient medium, where the culture has been established in this stage. Next to this is the stage second. In this stage, there is rapid multiplication of shoots or embryo formation from the explant. Here, if you use the shoot tip, so from that shoot tip as a explant, from that the shoots has been produced. So here multiple shoots we get from a smallest part, that is the shoot tip. Or one can, if you use the leaf part or the piece of the leaf, then the embryos has been formed from the explant. So it is also known as proliferation stage, where there is a rapid multiplication of the shoots or embryo formation from the explant. Next stage is the stage third. It is also known as rooting and hardening stage. So once we get the multiple shoots, aerial shoots, then it involves the transfer of shoots to a medium for rapid development of the roots. Sometimes the shoots are directly planted in a soil for root development, but actually in vitro rooting of shoots is most preferred in micro propagation. So here in the stage second we get the multiple shoots. So to these shoots the root initiation has been carried out in the stage third. So it is known as rooting stage, where the multiple shoots has been excised from the medium and that has been transferred on a fresh medium that support root formation. So for rooting, the hormones used are the auxins. So balanced combination or the more concentration of the auxin than the cytokinin has been used in the medium. So the multiple shoots are subculture on a rooting medium, so that in vitro rooting of the shoots has been occurred in the stage third. Next is the stage fourth. In this stage there is a establishment of plantlets in soil. So here from this stage hardening has been carried out stepwise, first in the greenhouse and then in the open field. So in the stage fourth there is a establishment of plantlets in soil. The plantlets obtained in stage third are transferred from lab to the environment of greenhouse, where the climatic conditions are controlled, like the temperature, light and humidity. So here the plantlets that has been obtained from the stage third are transferred to the greenhouse, where there is a controlled environment of temperature, light and humidity. In some plant species, stage third is skipped and unrooted shoots develop in stage second are directly planted in pots or in suitable compost mixture for rooting. So both hardening and the rooting has been carried out in the greenhouse. If the plantlets are transferred directly from stage second to the stage fourth, where the plantlets are directly potted in pots or in suitable compost mixture. So here rooting and the hardening that has been occur simultaneously in the greenhouse during the stage fourth. So during micropropagation, actually in vitro rooting of the shoots is most prepared. So stage third plantlets are transferred from lab to the environment of the greenhouse in the stage fourth. So stage fourth, it is concerned with the hardening of the tissue culture plantlets. And the last stage is the stage 5. The major activity of micropropagation takes place in this stage. The rapid multiplication of shoots, embryo formation in large scale from the explants takes place in this stage. So these are the stages of the micropropagation. So through micropropagation, the large number of plants has been developed. So here this is the diagrammatic representation of the technique of micropropagation. So this is a stock plant from which the explant has been used. Here the meristem or the shoot tip has been isolated from the branch of the plant, so that meristem or the shoot tip has been inoculated on the culture medium. So from this meristem or the shoot tip, it develops the multiple shoots. Here we can see the multiple shoots. Here these shoots are supported with the plant growth regulator cytokinin, so it gives more axillary branching. Now such multiple shoots are excised from the medium, and that has been subculture on the other medium that support the formation of roots. So rooting medium that possesses the more concentration of auxin than the cytokinin, so that the plantlet has been transferred on a fresh medium, or it has been subculture on a medium that contain auxin for rooting. So in this way, in vitro shoot and roots has been developed to the plantlet. Now such plantlets has been transferred for hardening in the greenhouse in stage 4. Okay, here is another one example given where the node has been isolated. That node has been cultured, has been inoculated on the nutrient medium, where that also gives rise to the shoot by using a medium that possesses the cytokinin. The axillary branching may occur to this shoot. Now the rooting has been carried out by subculturing the shoots on rooting medium that contain the auxin. So in this way, the whole plant regeneration has been carried out either by using a meristem or shoot tip, or the node isolated from the stock plant. Okay, so this is of the micropropagation. So in this way, the large number of plantlets has been obtained by using the smallest part of the plant, that is the explant. Here the explant uses the meristem or the shoot tip. Similarly, we can also use the node. So this is the whole technique of the micropropagation. Now the advantages of the micropropagation. So why we are using the micropropagation for the multiplication of the plant? So there are certain advantages of the micropropagation. The most important advantage is getting disease free planting material on large scale. As you know that in tissue culture, the aseptic condition has to be maintained to avoid any type of contamination. So the most important advantage is getting disease free planting material on large scale. Second thing is the elimination of disease is possible through this method. Suppose a stock plant or a plant from which we are going to multiply, the plant is subjected to the diseases, or it is susceptible to the diseases. Now the elimination of the disease is possible through the method of micropropagation. It has a broad commercial application and suitable for most of the economically important plants. So economically important plants are multiplied commercially by using micropropagation. It helps to produce large quantities of identical plants that we called as clone. So micropropagation is the in vitro clonal propagation from small section of plants such as stem tip, node, meristem, embryo, or even a seed. So it produces a large number of identical plants from smallest part of the plant such as stem, node, meristem, embryo, or even a seed. This method is completely based on cellular totipotency. So totipotency, it is the ability of the isolated cell to develop the entire plant, that is called as cellular totipotency. So the smallest part of the plant having the ability to develop the entire plant. So this micropropagation method is completely based on cellular totipotency. This method is helpful for production of clones of stock or mother plant. So the novel plant or the useful plant, or those plants which are produced by genetic engineering method, these plants are genetically modified plants. So such plants can be multiplied by using a micropropagation method. So this method is useful for the production of clones of stock or mother plant. This technique has an extraordinary high fecundity rate, producing thousands of propagules which is not possible in conventional methods. So within a short period of times, the large number of plants, that is the thousands of the plants, has been produced by using the micro propagation method. So this method requires a small area. The time span is also very small, so the large number of plants can be produced within a short period of time in a small area by using the micro propagation method. So this is the most important advantage of the micro propagation. Next to this is it is only variable method of regenerating genetically modified cells or cells after protoplast fusion. So protoplast fusion is the one of the way by which we can carry out the hybridization. So it is also called as somatic hybridization. So protoplast of two different plant species has been combined together, it has been fused together. Now such somatic hybrid, the whole plant regeneration has been carried out by using a tissue culture method. So it is the only variable method of regenerating plants after protoplast fusion. Also the genetically modified cells are cultured in the tissue culture medium from which the whole plant regeneration has been carried out by using micro propagation method. So micro propagation is the only variable method of regenerating genetically modified cells or cells that has been produced after protoplast fusion. It is very important and crucial method of propagation in plants which produce very few seeds. So those plants which produce very few seeds can be multiplied by using micropropagation, or in case of those plants that we call it as sterile plants, because these plants do not produce viable seeds, or when the seeds cannot be stored because of the lack of seed dormancy. So in sterile plants which do not produce viable seeds can be propagated, multiplied by using micropropagation method. Or in case of those plants whose seeds cannot be stored because of the lack of seed dormancy, such plants can be multiplied by using micropropagation. Furthermore, the micropropagation produce more vigorous and sturdy plants. So these are the advantages of the micropropagation. Now there are certain disadvantages for the micropropagation. It is very expensive and require sophisticated labs and trained manpower. So one can say this is the limitation of the micropropagation. It is very expensive and it require sophisticated labs and trained manpower. So this is the only disadvantage or the limitation of the micropropagation. So this is all about the micropropagation. Now we are going for the second application, that is the soma-clonal variation. So soma-clonal variation, when the plants has been produced by using a somatic cells, these are alike to the explant, but some variations may occur in the propagated plant, in a tissue cultured plants. That variations are called as soma-clonal variation. So this term soma-clonal variation was first coined by Larkin and Scowcroft in 1981. According to them, genetic variation occurring in tissue culture regenerated plants through somatic cells are commonly known as soma-clonal variation. So the plantlets regenerated by using tissue culture method are like to their explant or to the stock plant from which the explant has been prepared, but genetic variation may occur in the tissue culture regenerate plants through the somatic part or the somatic cell. So such variations are known as soma-clonal variation. The mechanism of soma-clonal variation is unknown. The reason behind the occurrence of genetic variations in the tissue culture regenerated plants through the somatic cells are unknown. So soma-clonal variations are the genetic variations that occurred in tissue culture regenerate plants through the somatic cell or somatic part of the plant are known as soma-clonal variation. The variety of factors may contribute to the formation of soma-clonal variations, such as type of tissue that has been used, explant source, media components, duration of culture cycle, regeneration system, etc. So these are the these are the factors that contribute to the formation of somaclonal variation. Somaclonal variations are genetic variations that occur in tissue culture, regenerate plants through the somatic cell or the body cell. So this factor may contribute to the formation of somaclonal variations. These factors are type of tissue, explant source, media components, duration of culture cycle, regeneration systems. So these are the factors. Next to this is the somaclonal variation may results from a wide range of genetic changes. The major cause is chromosomal rearrangement during tissue culture of plant cell. So somaclonal variation occur in the tissue culture regenerate plant due to the chromosomal arrangement during tissue culture of the plant cells. Many times there is a chromosomal duplication and increase in the ploidy are often induce the somaclonal variation. So chromosomal duplications, increase in ploidy, that is the sets of chromosome that has been increased in the cultured plant cells, or some chromosomes are duplicated. So due to this it induces the somaclonal variations. Somaclonal variations are reported at different levels like morphological, cytological, cytochemical, biochemical and molecular levels in micropropagated plants. Somaclonal variation is a genetic tool to produce genetic variability or differences which will enable plant breeders to do genetic improvement. So somaclonal variation is a variation seen in plants that has been produced by tissue culture. So these variations are maybe morphological, cytological, cytochemical, biochemical and molecular. So such variations that has been occurred in tissue culture regenerate plants through somatic cell or a body cell, that variations are called as somaclonal variation. So this is the second one, application of the micropropagation. So one by one we will study all the remaining applications of the tissue culture. Okay, so this is all for today. Thank you.